From a newly found pyramid in Peru to a recently discovered Mayan city, these are mysterious ancient ruins that were buried for centuries. Archaeologists have just recently uncovered a massive pyramid at the Chupasigaro archaeological site just a kilometer away from the ancient Caral ruins in Peru. This newly found pyramid is believed to be an extension of the Caral city, which is famous for being one of the earliest advanced civilizations in the Americas. The pyramid had been buried under earth and shrubs for thousands of years, but these new excavations revealed vertical stones known as huancas marking the corners of a ceremonial building. The pyramid's footprint is rectangular, with a central staircase that at one time would have led to a towering summit. There are also 12 smaller areas spread across hilltops, which would have been used for public ceremonies or events. Surrounding the pyramid are the remains of houses too, so it looked like this place was a kind of smaller urban area, a kind of suburb of the main city of Caral. Another really exciting discovery here was a massive geoglyph, a human head design measuring 62 meters long and 30 meters wide. Archaeologists recently discovered the ruins of an ancient Mayan city in the jungle of southeastern Mexico, just a short hike from a major road. The city, named Valeriana, is believed to have been home to between 30,000 and 50,000 people from around 750 to 850 CE. The ruins were found with the help of LiDAR technology, which uses laser light from drones to scan the ground. The city spans over 6 square miles. They found two major centers with large buildings about a mile apart. These areas were connected by houses and causeways. The LiDAR images also revealed two plazas with temple pyramids, a ball court, and a reservoir. At some point the city was abandoned though, likely because of droughts. Two ancient cities were recently discovered in the mountains of Uzbekistan, high above sea level. The cities were found along the Silk Road, an ancient trade route that stretched about 4,000 miles, dating back over 1,000 years. The first city, called Tashbalak, was about 29 acres in size. The second, Taganbulak, was massive, around 10 times larger, almost 3 times the size of Vatican City. Once again, they used LiDAR technology here. Researchers were able to map the cities in detail. Now, I mentioned LiDAR before, and it'll be coming up again, so here's a very brief and simplified explanation on how it works. LiDAR works by shooting laser beams at the ground and then measuring how long it takes for the light to bounce back, which then allows archaeologists to see the terrain and structures beneath the surface. Scans are then turned into 3D models, which in this case showed plazas and homes and other buildings which would have been used by travelers and traders passing through the area. Ocomtu is an ancient Mayan city on the Yucatan Peninsula in Mexico, but it was only recently discovered in June of 2023 by archaeologists from Mexico's National Institute of Anthropology and History. The team, led by Dr. Ivan Sprajic, found the city hidden deep in the jungle where no one had explored before. They used LiDAR to detect the ruins, which include a number of pyramids around 15 meters tall, stone columns, and a ball court used for an ancient Maya game. Pottery fragments found at the site hint that it was inhabited by the Maya people from around 600 CE to 800 CE, but the city fell into decline by 1000 CE, around the time of the classic Maya collapse. Ocomtu was named after the stone columns that are spread throughout the city, with Ocomtu meaning stone column in the Mayan language. It's found in a remote area called the Balamku Ecological Conservation Zone, a place so thick with jungle that it had sat hidden, since it was abandoned a little over 1,000 years ago. In 2023, archaeologists made an amazing discovery off the coast of Pozzuoli, Italy, an ancient Nabataean Temple. The city had been sought after for centuries, but it wasn't until recently that they finally found it, almost by accident, while mapping the sea floor. This 2,000-year-old temple was dedicated to Dashara, the chief god of the Nabataean civilization, which was around from the 4th century BCE till about 106 CE, when they were absorbed into the Roman Empire. The temple, now submerged underwater thanks to volcanic activity, contains inscriptions like Dusari Sacrum, meaning consecrated to Dashara. Researchers found 2 rooms under the sea. One of them contained 2 marble altars, which had probably been used to worship him. The Nabataeans were also known for their stunning tombs in Petra, Jordan, including the famous treasury. Stephen Tuck, a Roman historian, said, "It makes perfect sense that the Nabataeans would be in Puteoli as a community of traders. This discovery shows that the Nabataeans used the temple as both a place of worship and a hub for trade, exchanging goods like gold, ivory, and perfumes. The temple was part of their far-reaching trade network, which stretched from northern Arabia to Italy." In 2022, Spain's worst drought in decades did have an upside. It led to a really cool archaeological find, a prehistoric stone circle known as the Dolmen of Caral, or the Spanish Stonehenge, finally revealed itself after years of being submerged underwater. The circle, made up of large megalithic stones, dates back to around 5000 BCE. As the water level in the reservoir dropped to just 28%, the stones, which had been submerged since 1963, became fully visible once again. Spanish Stonehenge was first discovered by German archaeologist Hugo Oberheimer in 1926, but the area was flooded as part of a development project under Spain's dictator Francisco Franco. Since then, the site has only reappeared a few times. Archaeologist Enrique Cadillo described it as a rare chance to study the site before it gets submerged again. And there are a number of things scattered across Western Europe like this, but we still don't fully understand who built them or why. But some researchers believe they were used as tombs, as human remains have been found near similar sites. In Athens, workers laying natural gas pipelines near the Acropolis came across an ancient marble statue of a young man, found buried almost upright in a brick-lined pit. The statue is in surprisingly good condition, except for the crack running along its torso and the fact that it's missing its head. Other than that, though, it looks pretty good. The statue resembles depictions of Hermes, the messenger god in Greek mythology. It's believed that it may have once decorated a wealthy Roman-era home in Athens. The statue could be a Roman copy of an original sculpture from the 5th century BCE, but its exact date hasn't been confirmed yet. This discovery was made near the southern end of the Acropolis, not far from the Odeon of Herodes Atticus, an ancient Roman concert hall. The area around the find was once home to fancy houses adorned with beautiful artwork belonging to wealthier people of ancient Athens, so the location makes sense. Archaeologists digging at Pompeii have come across a fancy private bathhouse along with some other amazing finds showing just how rich and luxurious life was before Mount Vesuvius erupted in 79 CE. The bathhouse was huge with a pool that could fit 30 people, hot and cold rooms, and stunning artwork, but there's also a dark side. The boiler room, where slaves worked in unbearable heat to keep everything running smoothly, was also found, and then came a really crazy find. Archaeologists found the remains of 2 people in a tiny room near the bathhouse. One was an older woman of higher status, curled up in bed, clutching gold coins and jewelry. The other was a young man, probably a servant or slave, who would have died being crushed by a collapsing wall as the eruption started. His hands were still holding keys, while the woman likely watched him die before facing her own death. That is pretty horrific, and it's only the beginning. More and more excavation is going on at Pompeii, so with more digs underway, who knows what else will turn up in the very near future. During a severe drought in Texas, ancient dinosaur tracks were revealed at Dinosaur Valley State Park, about 140 kilometers southwest of Dallas. The tracks, which are over 113 million years old, are preserved in the bed of the Paluxy River. The footprints belong to an Acrocanthosaurus, a carnivorous dinosaur about 4 meters tall or just over 13 feet, weighing about 6 tons. Park Superintendent Jeff Davis explained that the tracks, which are usually covered by water, gravel, and sandbars, were exposed thanks to the drought. The tracks are 3-toed prints similar to the ones made by the more famous T-Rex, only much older. The discovery thrilled dinosaur fans, including Paul Baker, who remembers exploring the riverbed with his father, a park ranger, looking for tracks. His father was the first to find these footprints during a previous drought, and the site was named in his honor. Along with the Acrocanthosaurus, the park also has tracks from other dinosaurs like the massive Sauroposeidon, a herbivore that stood 18 meters tall, that's about 59 feet, and weighed about 39 tons. The footprints were made when the area was a shallow inland sea during the Cretaceous period, long before the land became the prairies we see in Texas today. Cahokia was once a huge city right in North America, around 1,000 years ago. It sat in what's now Illinois, near St. Louis. At its peak, it was home to as many as 20,000 people, making it one of the biggest cities in the world at the time. The people who lived there were part of the Mississippian culture, or a group of Native American societies that lived around the southeastern and midwestern US. They were really good at building huge earth mounds, some as tall as a 10-story building. The biggest one, Monk's Mound, is so massive it covers 14 acres and is about 100 feet tall. Not only did lots of people live here, it was also a hub for trade, with goods coming in from all over the region. They were experts in farming too, especially growing corn, which was the staple of their diet. The city had a really organized layout too, with streets, plazas, and public spaces, but then Cahokia was abandoned around the 14th century. What most archaeologists think is that a series of massive floods hit. By the time settlers showed up, the city was gone, though the mounds were still there. It wasn't until the 19th century, though, that people started realizing just how important Cahokia had really been. With all that said, I've been your host James, and I'll catch you, yes you specifically, in the next video.